Hey guys, it's Sandy. Welcome back to cutepolish. In today's video, we're going to be talking about dip powder nails. Dip powder has been all the rage this year, but the application of it can sometimes get tricky. So Julie will be sharing her tips and tricks today on how to perfect your dip powder manicure at home.
Hey, it's Julie. Now let's get started with the video. First things first, you're gonna need a dip powder kit. There are a lot of options right now, but for this video, I'll be using the Kiara Sky Dip Kit because it comes with everything you need and is packaged in easy steps 1 through 5 bottles. As you would with any manicure, you're going to want to start with cleaned, groomed nails. This means push your cuticles back, file your nails into shape, and remove any residue from the nail plate. This particular kit comes with step-by-step instructions for how to use the dip powder, which I do follow, but I have learned a couple things that weren't mentioned in the instructions, which I will share with you a little later. The first step is to apply a thin layer of bhanda. This is basically just a dehydrator, and it's going to remove the excess oils from your nails to make sure the dip powder adheres properly. But don't panic, this is supposed to leave your nails looking pale and really dried out. Step 2 is to apply the base polish to 3/4 of your nail, then quickly dip it into the natural colored dip powder. This is going to help disguise any visible nail line you have and make the final color more opaque and even. It doesn't say this in the instructions, but you have to work one nail at a time because the base dries fairly quickly and you need to get that powder on while it's still wet or else it will not stick at all. Another thing I don't think the instructions clearly state is to dip your finger in at about a 45-degree angle until it's completely submerged in the powder and then pull it out. Tap off the excess powder and let it dry while you move on to the next nails. Tapping your finger will remove the majority of the loose powder, but there might be quite a bit still stuck to your nail. So what I like to do is once the base and first layer of powder are dry, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes, I'll take a big kabuki brush and dust off the excess. This will keep the layers thin and keep product from building up on your brushes. Now you can grab the colored dip powder. I'll be using this deep red shade that's funnily named Hot Chocolate. And just like before, apply the base, but this time you can apply it to your entire nail and then dip it into the colored powder. Word of caution, these powders are extremely pigmented, so you're gonna get some color on your skin, but it will wash off later with soap. If you see any spots you might have accidentally missed, it's okay to add a little more of the base, then dip it again. Here's where I ran into problems when I first did this. If you applied the base over top of your first coat of color and there's still loose powder on the nail, it will gunk up on the brush and the nail and look super lumpy. So that's why I like to let it dry, then dust off the excess and apply a second coat of base and dip again. Don't worry if you have some bald spots like I do here, that's due to the base drying before it comes into contact with the powder, and second coat will totally cover it up. On my accent nails, I decided to use a gorgeous silvery glitter powder called Sterling, and I followed the same steps as before, doing 2 coats of color. After I have all of my color powder on, I'll next be dipping into clear powder to add a barrier to the color, so when it's time to file, I don't accidentally file off the color. Then after that, I'll be moving on to step 3, which is seal and protect, and applying a generous layer of that to each nail. One of the biggest benefits to dip powder is that it dries incredibly fast, so you don't have to worry about accidentally smudging anything. Now you can go ahead and file and buff the nails. I used 2 different files, starting with a coarser one to remove the bulk, then I switched to a finer grit file to smooth out the surface. And when you're done filing, you can go ahead and wash your hands with warm soapy water and dry them thoroughly. Now we're going to add one more layer of the seal and protect, but before it dries, wipe it off with a lint-free wipe. This is just going to remove any excess debris that might still be on the nail and get the nail ready for top coat. Step 4 is to apply a layer of the top coat in quick short strokes and try not to over manipulate it. The instructions for this kit say to let that dry, then go in with a second coat of the top, which I did do, but I wasn't super happy with the shine, so once that completely dried, I did just pop on a layer of plain clear top coat to make it extra glossy. Finish with the nourishing oil to rehydrate your skin, and that's it. Unlike a gel manicure, dip powder dries hard as a rock, so your nails won't have any flexibility and will stay super strong. And when it's time to remove, file the surface of the dip manicure to break the seal, then wrap it as you would to remove a gel manicure with an acetone-soaked cotton ball. I actually made a huge mistake here and didn't file the dip powder nearly enough, so the acetone didn't soak deep enough into the layers. And when I went to remove it, I made the incredibly amateur mistake of peeling it off, and I actually tore a piece of my nail. Fortunately, it was just a corner and it was on my thumb, so I was able to file down the damaged area, but please, please, please don't peel it off. File down the powder as much as you can and soak it for at least 30 minutes. And if you have an e-file, that will probably work even better. It won't quite dissolve like gel would, but it will become soft enough that it pulls off easily when you remove the cotton ball and foil. If you guys have any tips you'd like to share, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like to watch more helpful Cute Polish videos, you can click on these boxes here, and you can click on the circle to subscribe to Cute Polish for a new video every week. And if you'd like to check out my personal channel, you can click on this little circle here.